And welcome back to what it was probably the fastest game of the Aurora Cup so far. 20 minutes on the dot. Natives with 15 plates to begin the game. J Real, we were talking about dominance. We were talking about the way they coordinate their attacks and the way they execute them, but we were not expecting this, were we?
No, they're on a new level. Like they are legit built different right now in this tournament. No one is standing next to them. They are just Godzilla in your city. They are wrecking it down. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't know who they're gonna send.
Okay, I just saw a message from production with the question mark Dusty versus Natives final angle. Oi, oi, oi. I don't know if that's a reality, Solari, but that was really quick for them. Obviously, we can look at them as the contender for the first position of this group. If not, playoffs material. Like they are probably
Mhm.
playoffs materials. They're gonna do it. There's no question in this one. On Vanier's side, though, Solari, I want to ask you: Is this team? What is this team lacking so far, from what you see?
Uh, a list of things, unfortunately, and many of them, most of them, are pretty justifiable by now because this is a completely new roster. They haven't had so much time to play together, so it is expected to not have that good of a synergy between the players in such a state of a team. It's something you can definitely work on, but it takes time, and time is not something they had going into Aurora Cup. So
Yeah.
I can justify them not performing as well as we could have expected them to. But if we get away from the team synergy, there are still some things to work on, and this
Mm.
match definitely showcased that natives know what angle they want to be playing from, and it's still the same the top lane angle and the top side of the map angle. And for Vanir, they were not quick enough to read it, and they were just giving it away for free, and they allowed natives to snowball from there on.
And we have all winning lanes. Being a jungler is easy peasy. That's the way Jamada likes to play. So that's exactly what they had. Natives are looking in a different level right now, showcasing why they are level, not level, but Division One material. And that's why they are on Division One. And I would like to see what happens on Spring Split with this composition. Now, moving on, Basta 5 versus Domino. This is going to be the last game of Group D on this day. We still have next week on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. So be sure to tune in on next week to understand where the groups are going to wrap up. Also, be advised that we have additional 3 streams going on, showcasing the other groups. We have a lot of talent showcasing them. So drop by and say hello and just give some props to those guys. They are killing themselves, making a huge amount of work for the entire community. So Basta 5 versus Domino. I kind of like
Hmm.
Basta 5. I like the idea that
Yeah.
they showed up, they got demolished by natives, but if I may, they have been the strongest team versus natives so far.
Yeah.
They hold on the
Yeah.
most. I was not expecting this. J Real, be real with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Like you look at the standings, you see Div One just made Div One, Div Two, Div Three. You think, okay, the Div Three, that's the free win. They have
Yeah.
not been a free win. Natives actually had to play pretty decently. Yes, they got the lead early. Yes, they were able to close it out, but they smoked Vanir. So it's kind of like Buster Five. You know what? They're a bit dangerous. They beat Vanir themselves. They got a few picks that you're not necessarily expecting. They're flexible in the meta. You don't know too much about them. They are definitely a dark horse.
The question mark makes it for them as well. On the on Domino, are they as strong as they were on Division 2, Solari? Are they showing more signs of weakness? Are they exploitable? And what can they do to fix them? Big
Uh,
question.
it's a big question. I'm not even sure I can unwrap it right here for you. But I wouldn't say they feel or look exploitable, but there are ways to play around them. And I wouldn't say if they feel stronger or weaker compared to what they were in Division 2 so far. But there is an angle and there is this scenario. I see that Bastu 5 can actually win against Domino in this scenario. They're going 1-1 both, so it's going to be a rather interesting matchup. But I can see a world where this happens.
That's exactly it. This is the game that is going to be separating both teams and either allowing Basta 5 or Domino to chase tail versus Natives, who are currently in first place with 3-0. What a dominance they showed up
Oh.
today. So Zach is going to be the first one. Dreven is going to be removed as well. Now, we've seen Thorn play Corki 2 times in a row. Is
Mm.
it bannable or can you just play around it?
I think that it's player roundable. You know, I
Hmm.
think that it's not the strongest champion in the meta right now. I think there are picks that play early game, mid lane well enough that you can basically say, you know what, we don't need to worry. Plus, you could just counter it with the ADC that we've already seen. Okay, yes, we did see them already ban out the Draven, but things like the Lucian would still work.
Hmm. No, definitely. There are so many things that can play around Corki, and just not the champions even, but the play styles. You shut him down in the early game. You never let him get to his items. You never let him consume any gold on the lane, and that's it. He's unplayable.
Yes. We are learning, we are adapting, we are improving. World Cup, please look at NLC early. Learn from past mistakes. Either you play Irelia or you just ban them away. It's that simple. However, the tree is going to be running amok in the forest as Maokai is going to be the first one. Obviously, do we have other priority picks that could be achievable now on the red side, Jamie?
Yes, but my mind has gone blank. Like, admittedly, like there are definitely lots of picks. I think that obviously, if you look at things like Kalista in the bot lane, that is a big one. I've just remembered them all now. It's like things like Kalista, Sejuani, obviously being played a lot. I think Silas as well, although not necessarily a really early pick that you want to lock in. Definitely want to have priority on the Ornn itself as well, and they're going to pick up that Caitlyn that they played in game 1-2. So they're going again for that early game style on the bot side.
And
There you go.
what's
You got the
interesting
long range and
is
the weak side. Tell me, Solange.
exactly. They're going again for pretty much the same idea that we saw from them in their first game they played today. You have a long range back lane and a very short range and a very reliable front lane. So already the team composition, the identity of the composition is pretty visible here. So I wonder what Domino are going to reply with, because they're still very flexible. With that Gwen, we know already that most probably that Malachi is not going to the top lane. And can I just say, I haven't seen Gwen for ages, and I'm just so happy that she's back.
Oh, okay.
Are
So,
you?
Yes,
yeah, that's
I
the
like
thing.
her.
Are you? Okay.
Yes.
Obviously, you don't play top lane. As we are moving
Yeah.
on in the
Yeah.
champion select, Zeno is going to take the lead on this last pick before we jump into the bans. You want to take something that can face the Caitlyn at level 1. It's pretty doable with the weapons that you get access to. The combo is back. I've missed this one. Where you take the binding, you call on your web provider because you're lagging, you're AFK. Caitlyn puts the cookie, you get sugar rush, and you die. I've missed this one because it's disgusting to play against.
Yeah, it is a disgusting combination. Morg binds you for the rest of your life. Kaelin gets the trap, gets the empowered shots. There's not really much you can do about it. Aphelios, I like that pickup, by the way. You do obviously have some sort of range with the Calibrum. Admittedly, we got to see them play Aphelios before. Didn't really work out earlier. You know, it's a risky one. Admittedly, that wasn't Domino. I've just remembered. It was Veneer. They played the Aphelios earlier. But it is reliant on having that kind of front line to keep people away from you and then
Mhm.
giving you that space.
Yeah, because if there is one thing that Achilles really hates, it's the range, and we already have the range on the side of Bastu 5. Just even look at the Caitlyn; it's already enough for you. Can I just say also that the Morgana can still be flexed from the bot lane into the jungle, which is also going to be a super interesting angle, because Bastu still don't know where exactly Maokai is going. He can go to the bot lane, he can go to the jungle, so Bastu still have an option to reply with the last pick to send Morgana somewhere else.
I hate that ban, but he was banned anyway. Champion is
Aww.
gone. There you go. At least he got something in the champion select, not like Shivana. Akali is going to be going last.
I did not expect that, and that
I
hurts.
love the fact that we are online and I can say whatever I want, so I don't get attacked. But yeah, I'm just saying. Because I know if this was live, she was going to look at me and, oh, it's going to be a bloodbath. So Vados is going to be the last one. Oh, interesting. So if you take away the Vados, it means you're looking for the Azir.
Potentially. So also just limiting that mid lane champion pool that has been played so far from Bastard 5. I am really interested to see what they do pivot in from that Corki because as we said, they're playing a very similar style to they did before. They've got 2 tanks, they've got long range ADC. That Cassiopeia is a little bit mad, but we'll come to that in a second when they actually lock something in. But I'm imagining that they're still going to play for that ADC mid, unless Bastard 5 have, you know what, got other tricks up their sleeve, which we haven't seen just yet.
A lot of
Okay, wait.
magic damage.
Cassiopeia.
It's still not picked. They're
Ooh.
just looking at it. Victor?
Yeah.
Of
Got us
all
all
the
hyped.
things. Well, there you go. It's going to be the victor for the mid lane. So they're kind of lacking on the AD department, but you're looking for the support right now. Unless you bring the switcheroo and you put in the Gwen in the jungle.
What?
Oh, this was really good because you can counter the Morgana with the plant. It's about nature, guys, okay? I know you have evolution in the mid lane, but you have a tree, a walking tree. You have someone that makes plants. It's about nature, okay? You guys
I
need to
feel
touch more grass.
they need to just pick Heimerdinger then. They need to just say no to nature. You know, just come through the Heimerdinger, bring your own turrets. But they're not going to. They're going to bring the Azir. They're going to make it difficult for the trees to root because you can't do that in sand. You know, that's just how it be.
Yeah. That Syra has me so confused. Like I can see how it can work. I can see the idea behind it, but not if I look at everything that happened before her. It's just not matching to me because Domino, Aphelios has a lot on his shoulders right now because all the 80 damage is going to come strictly from him. And if he's not delivering for Bastu 5 for their frontline, which they have plenty of, it's going to be such an easy time to itemize.
It also provides a lot of CC. I'm looking at this on the team fight perspective. When you have Maokai, Victor, Zyra, and even the Graviton in the middle of a team fight, do you think you can move? I believe all that CC applied on someone is almost as much as Dark Binding. So I think they're making things even.
Yeah, I'm confused by this draft. I'm not gonna lie, like they've thrown a lot of curveballs from both sides. I will say I think that Domino potentially have a lot of advantages. As you said, the Graviton plus the ultimate from Zyra plus the Maokai as well going to be locking them down. They also have the Gwen that is going to be able to get up close and personal with a lot of the team from the side of Bastu 5, and that could be very problematic to their success.
So, okay, we got to get some names. J-Real, I want to hear predictions. Solari as well. You are currently 100% correct, Solari. J-Real.
I'm going to say Domino. Pick up the win here.
Domino. Okay, what about you, Solari?
I'm going to say Bastu 5.
Best of 5! There you go. So that's the prediction so far. We're going to toss it to our casters that are waiting. It is Tom Kick and Duck.
Yeah, welcome back to the right side of the desk as Tom Kick. We might honestly have a banger in front of us. I am very excited for this after the slaughtering we watched Natives do for 2 games. Now is where the banger begins. The battle for second place between Domino and Bastu 5.
Yeah, for sure. This is a super important matchup to be able to get the edge over the other team and be able to actually get out of group into playoffs. So if you lose here, it's a lot longer road and it's a lot harder to actually get into them. But I'm a little bit disappointed, I gotta say. Like, when you have the Maokai, when you have the Syra, where's the full 3 combo? Where's the Ivan? We need the full 3 buff.
We need more trees. I mean, throw the Ivan mid lane or whatever, right? It'll certainly do the trick. Regardless, though, we might not have a full-blown forest, but we certainly have good bits of one as it will be like a, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a, we call it like a rainforest. It'll be like a tiny rainforest. You know, we have some
I like it.
We have, I mean, considering Spooder probably won't be contributing to the forest with his scissors trying to cut stuff down. Let's see how long that will last. As honestly, at the start of the day, I did not expect this last game, Bastu 5 versus Domino, to really be the banger, but Natives have shown themselves to be a level above all competition in the group. Veneer have shown themselves from not the strongest side. Domino, honestly, have shown what I expected. They have played some alright League of Legends, but they have also, you know, met teams that are better than them. But Bastu 5, rather, have been the real surprise for me. We didn't know what to expect, and they have surprised positively.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. I think it's going to be a really exciting match. I wonder how they want to play the game. Now, when you look at Bastu 5, the obvious take is like, okay, you have the Caitlyn Morgana. You want to early play things. You want to snowball in that way. But then again, Snubby with the creative Syra, I'm really looking forward to see how this laning phase is going to go through. You have it on the mind like, okay, the plants can block a lot of the Morgana CC, which means it's easier to lane and easier to keep the wave in the middle so they don't get too much prio. But this is early bot lane.
See, this is what I like to see when you pick the Volibear. Go for a gank quickly, and it will succeed as well with one more flash auto. It's a quick first blood for Bastu 5.
And this is the creativity we like. You know, the early level 1 buff down into the gank perfectly onto Aphelios. And now he's losing a lot already. So I wonder if they can keep on this tempo. But I like where this is starting already.
This is what I love. This is what I love about the Aurora Cup and the Fall Open as it was previously known as, right? We have these wildcard teams that we don't know that much about coming in, and I find that so hype because some of the teams are actually good at League of Legends, and we're seeing it here. Bastu 5 has surprised everyone, with even being competitive in some games and in, winning against Vanilla now. Yes, we are only 2.5 minutes in, but starting off on the right foot. For me, the biggest positive here is the fact that Polar didn't do this against natives. Plays developer again, realize I need to be more proactive in the early game and improve.
Yeah, it's super important, and you see it like it's just been one day. We're not even finished with this one day, and it's already improving, already playing more to what is important for the different matchups. So it's really good, and like if they can keep on improving like this throughout this match and through the coming day, it can be huge. Maybe they are the ones that actually make it out with natives if it keeps going like this. But then again, we gotta look for Domino. What do they need to win this fight? Yeah, it's shutting down this Caitlyn. Already seen Maokai holding down on bot side, so I'm gonna be interesting to see, because Caitlyn already getting pretty low.
Yeah, heal is still available. That's a very crucial cooldown to keep in mind. Snappy has the ignite if he wants to, and lessen the healing that can come through, but against a dive, it might be hard to survive. No flash, Black Shield available. They know that almost finish here, so now it's just the question of responding. No flash, Black Shield, and a heal. I mean, they have to play this very well. The traps have to be set up near perfectly, but he's just getting poked down. Very good at the start, but clean flash out. You're very happy with that one, I can see something.
Yeah, it was really well played. You see Snobby on the end, taking the aggro first, holding as long as he possibly can on the edge, and when he can't tank anymore, just take a step out, and the play is over. They're really happy with that. So clean overall, Domino taking back the lead, getting a kill onto the Caitlyn, going over to Maokai. Important early game to be able to shut this down. And mid lane, interesting fist fighting, getting low. Volibear is back.
Yeah, no flash. Zero walked out early enough, so didn't have to burn any cooldowns. That's just a overall win there for the side of Domino. And already, I mean, yes, just 4.5 minutes in, but this game is already starting to culminate. I can feel Tom Kick. The wind are blowing in one direction, and that's towards a banger. And hopefully we are going that way. Drake spawning in 15 seconds, and normally it's not one that really matters, but with the amount of action we've seen in the early game, does any team want to maybe try and make a play around this?
I think it's really hard tempo-wise when you look at the different champions, because Caitlyn Morgana don't want to really waste time on taking Drakes when you want to get those plates. So if you want to be able to look for plays like that, you want to be able to win fights. So you want to find good skirmishes on the bot side, where Caitlyn can keep hitting tower, and then the rest of the team just takes Drake. Now for the other side, they want to keep pressuring onto the Caitlyn. And if they take Drake, then they relieve the pressure and Caitlyn gets control over again. So it's a mixed match on both sides, which is just so important to keep watch on the bot side. We see on top lane, it's just been farming, the chilling, a little bit of skirmishing, but the eyes on the prize, and it's bot lane.
Little straight drop here in the top lane, but obviously as you said, eyes in the bot lane. That's why we will keep them as well. So Drake looks to be started up. There has been thrown down a couple of Sky Splitters, so damage coming through. Polar will be taking it. You mentioned, right, you didn't want to didn't want to force the Kaden to go up, and Fruity Fresh staying down on the bot lane will still be able to take it. Exactly as you said.
Yeah, it's good they know the rotations, no Maokai on top side, so they can't really contest it. Asir with the prio, keep it all there, so Caitlyn can keep on farming on bot lane, trying to get control over the wave. It's not easy against Aphelios with those kind of guns, but then again, you've got to wait out the rotation to actually be able to punish again. But we need the Volibear level 6 soon, and we need to keep on snowballing Caitlyn, because still 0 plates on Caitlyn.
Talking about snowballing Caitlyn, there's a Herald spawning at 1.5 minutes. Is there any way you can combine the two? Because we normally see a lot of the play revolve around the turret, or not the turret, the Herald rather, at the edge of the fight.
I think it's a good possibility. Then you really need a top and mid prio, but then again, now they want to look on top side for Domino.
Yeah, losing a lot of HP here is Atmo. He has the flash, but the needlework obviously does its damage in the mid lane. You mentioned that as well. Polar will pick up Zero, so 1-for-1 overall.
It's a good fight for both sides, getting a 1-for-1 trade overall on the map. But it's so hard to be actually playing for this Herald because you need a double prio. It's really hard to start objectives against either of the mid laners if you don't have prio. If Volibear starts it up there and Victor's prio moves in, there's a lot of poke, a lot of zoning control with that engage, and Gwen just jump over walls, be there pretty quickly. So it's important to have double prio to be able to look for heralds. So if you actually want to look at, you see the pings there, you actually want to play for it, so now it's on to Volibear, get back onto the map, get prio with the laners, and then you can try to look for the Herald potentially.
So the recall's coming through as well here from Fruity Fresh and Tobias. We're gonna see a clump, right? From Bastu 5 just run up towards the Herald and simply brute force it with a man advantage.
One of the problems here, you see the Morgana moving, so they want multiple members, as you say, they want to brute fight onto it, but then again, we're leaving Caitlyn alone for a long time, so you see plates are actually going on for Domino bot lane. And now, Bastu 5, they want to try to look for picks, have Morgana close by, Mark ult, hits, but they are not following it up.
Yeah, no follow-up quite yet. Recall has been cancelled in the bot lane, so it is a 3v2! As a very nice cancel is able to come through. Findo still in trouble, no flash needed, and he's actually able to walk out. Impressive play there from Domino, not losing anyone.
It's good, everybody survives, but they do actually manage to start the Herald now. They don't have mid prio completely at this moment, but with 3 members already on it, it should be pretty fine for Bastu 5. Now, how you use the Herald is super important, because Caitlyn has been bleeding on bot lane. She hasn't been able to actually get too much, and it's an important win condition to snowball. So I want to see how Bastu 5 actually manages to use this Herald, and if they can get Caitlyn onto the snowball.
That's just what we're waiting for. I mean, you're highlighting perfectly. They need to wait for the Caitlyn. Is there any other win condition? Obviously, yes, it does stuff late, right? But would it be a waste of time to spend time, for example, top lane or running around Tobai and Polar to do something in another place that isn't down to Fruity Fresh?
Now, of course, yeah, if you feel like Domino is able to keep the pressure on bot and you can't really snowball for Caitlyn, then the option needs to go on either of the solo laners. Maybe the best one is actually on top lane, because Gwen is the one always over-aggressing onto Ornn. So if you want to be able to look for crossmap, feel like, okay, Caitlyn can't really utilize this Herald too much, we'll get it on top lane, we'll try to get some gold over, get Ornn in the comfortable positions, because he will provide the team with Ornn upgrades later on, which is really important. But at the moment, Volibear pathing down, so it's going to be interesting to see if they want to look for some play around the spawning Drake.
And as you say, the Drake will be spawning in 1 minute, but until then, silence or a lack of action has hit the rift, and with that, we're actually able to talk a bit about Domino. We talked about them earlier in the day as a Norwegian organization, always good, never great, but they could change that here maybe, as they go for something in the bot lane, but in a 3v2, they're the one losing one first. We'll strike back to us 2x's underneath the turret. We'll run it back as that's a trap. That sentence him to death. Double kill for Fruity Fresh.
That was very unexpected. Like, the fight was so good in the start, but actually Fruity Fresh getting the double kill in the end. It's a 2 for 2, and it's pretty even overall. So I would say that Bastu 5 is really happy that it turned out that well, compared to it was a really bad start for them.
Wow. This as soon as I thought no action would happen, it instantly arose. So, I mean, back to the point I wanted to talk about before. This is something you, Tom, talked about in terms of Domino as an organization. In Norway, they had always been good, but they were never the best. They were never great. They were always up battling for the places where it was fun, but never when they were playing a final or almost winning. And in the NLC, their success hasn't been that staggering either. They have been just going into playoffs, playing a series, then getting knocked out, never really overperforming, but just, you know, being good. Yet again, not great. And this is really a chance to rewrite that, right? We're seeing a lot of teams from NLC Div 1 in their rebuilding phase. And you mentioned Domino keeping the same jungler as before. Maybe that's the chance for them to still keep a high level of performance and still go for the win.
Yeah, for sure. Now we already see starting off for Drake. They want to contest this, actually. Stepping up. Could this be a steal?
Oh, it certainly could, but no. Fruity Fresh, everything's going this man's way, as he'll get a kill as well. Secured the Drake, secure a kill. He's 420 now.
Yeah, and with these 2 Drakes, with the Herald, should pretty be used on the bot lane early. Now you have the man advantage, you need to keep snowballing. You don't have too much time on the Herald. Looks like they actually want to look on mid lane. Zero does not have flash. They don't look at the wall.
Oh, Empress Divide shoves him back towards the jungler, but Polar needs to get over the wall quickly, and he will with the Stormbringer. Thorn picks up the kill.
It's clean overall for Bastu 5. They're getting everything onto the map now. They're getting the Drake, getting the kill. Now I want to see something with the Herald soon, because it's getting pretty tight. And they don't have too much time to set up for a good Herald. So I'm going to be interesting to see if they can actually get some plates or what is going to happen there. But now Caitlyn, again, back on
the bad situation. Might just be solo kill pretty much. Yeah, but I think we can count that as a solo kill. Fruity Fresh, my guy! Chill out for just a couple seconds.
Yeah, we don't care about the Morgana W. That was also Domino. That was clean from Fruity Fresh. But then again, you used Herald on mid lane. Looks like Domino again tried to force Lobby
my.
Flash.
Yeah. Go back to your point.
Yeah, so we ignore what happened. They did manage to use the Herald, so they get at least 2 plates, I think it was, maybe 3, I didn't really see. But it wasn't the cleanest of Heralds, but they're getting a lot of leads. Actually 2k ahead. And now Caitlyn, you see, with the 5 kills on the team, suddenly they just managed, even without playing too much around Caitlyn just managed to get so many kills alone with a double kill on bot lane, solo bolo onto 2 axes again. So I'm really looking forward to see Fruity Fresh keep on snowballing this Caitlyn further in the game.
Domino, right in the mid lane. Even your mid laner is getting things going this way. A couple plates, a kill, a couple assists. That's just, the reinsurance, the fact that even if Fruity Fresh gets killed in a late game teamfight, you still have another damage carry there to help out and maybe even carry a fight that looks doomed. So everything's really going Bastu 5's way, and it feels so good to see these wildcards, you could call them, teams that are hard to really have any information on, actually perform well up against high-level competition.
It's really fun to see Bastu 5 taking the feedback after game 1, thinking like Bastu 5, not the best name when you're really crucial and you need to win the best Bastu ones. So it looks like they've taken it into heart. Maybe we see a name change in the coming days into best Bastu 1, and then Bastu 5 coming back if they actually manage to get out of the group. Because at this point it's looking pretty comfortable for them, and I'm looking forward to see if they can keep this lead going though. But for Domino, they need to step up. They need to get Aphelios back into the game because he's been struggling a lot. Losing a little bit more of farm, dying a lot, so XP is also behind.
Maybe a way to get back into the game will be with the Herald spawning in about half a minute's time, so another neutral object is soon to come on the map. As it is at the moment, Bastu 5 just with pure control. They will take the mid lane turret thanks to pure pressure.
With this, moving on to the top side, Herald has spawned. Gwen has been pushing top with Maokai, but they're backing off, so it looks like they're just gonna completely give away the Herald. Now this is where the interesting part comes. It's a Cloud Soul that is next. They have the Herald, they can utilize that pressure to play easier for the Drake. But how much value is it actually for the Drake? Now, the movement speed is pretty good and the cooldown reduction overall is good. But I'm feeling like for Domino's case, if we look at them for once, I think they will be happy overall if they see we're not in a good position to take a fight. Okay, we can give a Drake. This is not the worst soul to give away, so we either want to cross map or look for something to be able to provide something for the carries. 0 and 2 axes on the other siders.
Atmo needs to be careful of fancying himself with a short little trade. Pretty tanky though, so he'll be able to waddle away to safety as Omofin makes his way down here as well. There are a couple wards, but will make his way towards the bottom lane tier 1. They want it, and maybe even a kill with a good rotation from Tobai to be first. That denies the chance for a dive. The turret though still such a fall.
It's a good rotation just to keep the pressure up on the side. They managed to get the Drake, really important. So they're still just about 2k gold behind. It's not the worst positions. So now it's all about keeping the control, because this is where Maokai shines. Keeping the bush control, they had everything set up. Not dealing too much damage, but just providing vision and slows helps. I want to see if they can keep this control around the next 20 seconds and get to the Drake potentially.
Let's do first steps up here. I don't know if he or Zero needs to be careful. Have to respect the Victor. Always able to do good damage if the Drake spawns in 10 control in Domino's favor. A fight seems inevitable.
It's a good placement by Bastu 5. They use the Herald, somebody needs to respond to it, and they just take control, they walk in. Domino just giving it. And there's no really counterplay to it. I don't know really what happened. It looks like they just decided to walk out, not contest to it, and they had to take the Herald. That was really clean by Bastu overall, I guess, since they just get it for free.
Yeah, I mean, talk about getting it for free. We had just watched 30 seconds of Omofin setting up the traps, clearing the wish alongside Snappy, and it led to absolutely nothing. You mentioned it, they just walked out. Didn't want to deal with it. Yes, they're buying time, but I mean, the scaling is also there for Bastu 5. Bastu have a Caitlyn, they have a Nasir. They have an all with ornament items in the late game. Yes, Polar falls off a bit, but still, they're not gonna instantly just lose if this goes late.
Then again, we talked about Cloud maybe not giving too much, so it's worth noting that it's good for Domino to actually be in a position where they're comfortable with giving things. They're not like, okay, we need to do something, we need to take this fight because it's super crucial. But okay, we weren't really in the best state. Victor was on mid lane, Gwen wasn't really in position, so even though we have control, we'll try it again next time. We'll take the time, we'll set up plays, we'll set up objectives in the proper way, so we can manage to get the next objective. So that's one to keep the eyes on. But Baron, though, is going to be the next thing, and if sudden fights appear and you get a good pick, then it could go to either side, actually, because it's still pretty even.
You say the kills might be in favor of Bastu 5, but the gold isn't that big. Yeah, they could change though with this fight as what? 2x is gone before the fun even starts. Now the Polar in the front line takes a good amount of damage. Neither one from Scooter is big, but he himself falls after he gets one. Now in the front line jumps Amulfin straight onto Fruity Fresh, and they actually kill him. That's massive. That's the hope. And now they can live off Hopium for a while. Sarah will push forward, look for even more as Tobai kind of low. Same goes of Thorn actually. Domino find a 2-for-2 fight.
And this is now Bastu 5 not playing to the strengths. They have the range, they have the Caitlyn, Morgana, Azir to play it safe on the range, have the follow-up, but they deep dive super far into the river, and then it's so much easier for Mauka with the CC to play, Victor AoE damage, Aphelios overall. So this was just Bastu 5 not playing to the strengths, and Domino capitalizing well on it.
You're completely right. It felt very weird. I thought the fight was Bastu 5's favor for sure. They were the ones pulling the trigger, blowing double TPs to get in there. Fruity Fresh just all of a sudden caught out almost in, finding it without even using a flash. And while Thorn is strong, he isn't as strong as a 2-item Caitlyn at this point. So Fruity Fresh kind of needs to stay alive, it feels like, and there is hope in this game. The banger is still on the horizon.
I feel like we've gone back to a dead even state. When you look at the gold, it's not more than like 800-900 gold between them. It's gone down, so Domino has actually been gaining gold compared to Bastu 5 in the last 5 to 10 minutes. They have been slowly and steadily getting back. So you can actually see credit by being patient, holding up and not stressing too much has helped them. And it looks like Bastu 5, their weakness is being patient. We saw it also in the game 1 earlier when they have a scaling comp. They want to be able to get their spikes, but taking fights too early, and it's showing again in this game. So I want to see if Bastu 5 can actually learn from this, take more patient fights, play to their strengths, or Domino might actually just take this back.
Domino certainly aren't out of this game yet, and that's what makes it exciting. The last game we had natives going up against the side of Linear. Less than 20 minutes that game. This time we're lasting a bit longer here at Tom Kickers. We have some action. We have a Baron to be played around this time as well. And
We actually get to talk about their points.
Yeah, and I want you to talk about team fighting, because how does Bastu 5 want to play the team fight? You've mentioned a bit of extra range at a couple of points. How do they want to utilize that?
Now, as I mentioned, the range is the crucial thing. They have two beefy boys with the Ornn and Volibear. They can stand frontline, they can hold the fort down. So what is really important for this coming objective, 1 minute until the Drake solve for them, they need to be first on objective, and then they need to be patient. Ornn, Volibear, just stand your ground, be beefy boys. And then Azir with his range, with the soldiers, provide damage. Caitlyn also with a poke, with the traps setting down. Combo with Morgana just hits one binding. It's so much burst onto one target. But if they start engaging, then it's hard for Morgana to follow. It's hard for Azir to actually help out. So now we start seeing the standoffs. You see the damage actually on 2 axes. He has the healing guns. They're still in good position, but Domino is taking over control over the river so far.
Yeah, red and white runs out there. Calibrum Crescendum now the option. So good for fighting, good for extra range, but the fight is kicking off. Very good ultimate at the start, and there comes the Moonlight Vigil. Topai gone. Atmo has to run. They continue fighting. They want it, but they're not onto the main. Carries to the backline. Fruity Fresh still dishing out the damage. Finds one. Saru takes a tiny touch of damage, but they're able to back out. Even so far, Jungler lost on the side of Domino.
Happen against Bastu 5, starting with engages when you don't have the follow-up, but they have TP. They want to still contest it. They're not first on objective. Zero trying to hold them back. They are on the objective, moving in. Can they actually contest this?
3K, he can run in, but he's slow as well, and he can get in before he's dead. Thorn is getting zoned by Bolsaro, and they now get the CC on Fruity Fresh to delete him. That was the important target to kill, and they have done it. They will get the Drake as well. Domino now with a goal lead.
it's well played by Domino. They are playing to their strengths. They're waiting for Bastu 5 because they're the one engaging and not playing around their comp. So they're utilizing this, getting the good flank. The Maokai ult is huge. The poke from the Sire, the damage from Aphelios. And with this, they're starting the Baron and maybe actually be able to take it. TP comes from Azir, but do they have damage to actually contest this Baron?
The poke is certainly there, but the steal chance is not. Almost been back in just after respawning. 5k HP. And that is how to turn a game on its head. They're not out yet though. What can Bastu 5 get? And that's so far the answer. It's just nothing. But I'll take that back. As they'll find one. They will find two as well. Scooter forced to stop his recall. Saro's out and he might be the only survivor. Snappy could get dove here underneath the turret. Same goes for Spooder. The soldiers doing the work here for Thorn as he will pick up not only one, or we can call him one. Emperor's Divide, doesn't matter. He gets the shutdown. 3-0-6. They claim 4 out of 5 possible Barons on the side of Domino.
You just completely see the 360 turn on that linkage of mid lane. Polar, are you too deep?
Very deep. Fruity Fresh almost dying to the turret. Flash heal just to get in. But Saro's still winning this one. That's an overextension if I have ever seen one. Really wanted to get rid of the last Baron, and they waste both sums on their AD carry.
Now, this was just Domino playing well into Bastu 5 playing well into Domino playing well. It's just so back and forth. They really misaligned with what they actually want to do with the champion. So we see Bastu 5 on the Baron actually utilizing their kit with the range, standing there waiting for them to get low by the Baron. And then again, they have the Seer Soldiers, the setup for Morgana getting so many kills back. It's super important for them. Really well played by Bastu 5. Domino then again, they're super greedy with going for the double objectives. They do manage to keep some Baron buffs. It helps with the pressure. But now again, can they keep this level up? Can they stay calm in the fights to be able to wait for maybe Bastu 5 to keep engaging and overextending? Or if Bastu 5 has learned to see, wow, this fight was really easy when we just played range. They can't really do anything against us.
And remember what's at stake in this battle. A place or a second place for now after the first of 2 days of group for this individual one. So they will have one more day to be played coming up next week, but going in as a second place will be huge as the Summoners and everything is ready to go again, except for Fruity Fresh of course, because he used them last time around, has to stay safe. But Amulfin in the front line being absolutely melted by something. 2x is gone yet again. Saro is the one they need and they will fight him. Bastu 5. They had a couple missteps in the fight, but they will surely win this one unless Spooder has something to say about it as he's snipping through the front line. Fruity Fresh though, still alive. The crits are hitting heavy, but the scissors are even stronger. A triple kill, and he will run for 4. Can't quite connect with the snip. So though, the soldiers has to do it. The Hello Mist is not enough, and Bastu 5. A 4 for 4, no clear winner. It's a tie for now, Tom King.
That was a disaster overall on all fronts. Bastu 5 again starting the fight with a good engage this time, but then you see the strengths when they split up, it doesn't work. So Domino capitalizing, can they actually get away? Oh, Belfield, run! Oh, or we go in, that's fine too. Yeah, we go in. But yeah, back to the point. So it's like they play with engage, but then they're too split up. So Spooder just runs everybody down in the fight. It's just free for him. So that's the problem when you split up with these carries that can't really get away. The Caitlyn, not that mobile. Morgana just getting run down. It's really interesting fight. There's so much back and forward. This could be super close. And then again, Drake in 1 minute. Again.
I don't know, man. This game is delivering action. It doesn't feel like a 26-minute game with that many team fights. It feels like we've been here for 35 minutes. But hopefully many more minutes to come as Bastu 5 still just one Drake away from hitting the soul, hitting a power point, or a point they would really like to reach, as they're not reading from the script anymore. They're going off the rails. Their underdog story still alive if they want to secure that second place now.
I see Bastu 5 taking the mid wave, pushing it far up so they get a lot of control. Moving in as a team, it's really important to try to keep the control. Now Syra already, Snobby with the plans, trying to stall some time, deal some damage. Looks like they want to engage.
Oh yeah, forcing the flash already. Stormbringer coming down on Horn. Called upon as well, but Spooder on the flank, we have to be wary of him. If he finds the backline again, he can melt through it. Sarah can do the same on his Fruity Fresh taken down quite low. Good slide and glide away from Thorn to build the space, but Atmo left in the front line, forced to flash away for now, Thorn. Still hitting off. We have to keep our eyes on him. Fruity Fresh might be strong, but Thorn, level 16. That's a lot of damage as well.
I see Bastu 5 with the engage not working again. You see if the range can work this time. A lot of damage.
Yeah, they catch out Snappy now. Spooder could still look for it. Level 15. Needlework still strong, but it has to decide the game, and it needs to be massive. Good damage. Fruity Fresh is low. The Drake, though, still up for grabs. Polar needs to get in, but he's getting shoved away for now. Can't get into steal, and that's almost in with a massive secure for his team. Now, though, they're forced to run. Re-engage for some reason as almost in falls. Bastu 5, still 5-man strong, but HP bars are low, so they won't go for more.
I'm just wondering if the teams are gonna notice, like, oh wait, Bastu 5, every time we engage, it's not really working, but Poland?
I mean, he's just dead. You'll flash away. I take it all back.
But it's, as I mentioned, like, every time we try to engage, we don't really have the follow-up, so maybe we need to realize somebody's like, okay guys, maybe we try to play it differently, maybe we try with control, with the range, and it works. And you see on the Dragon Pit, it's a lot easier for them to play, but because of the initial engage, they're too low and it's hard to fight, so Domino managed to pick up another Drake and to stall the Elder even more. So it's gonna be exciting now, because now Baron spawns. Who will have control? Snobby here early on, 15 seconds until spawn. Can they keep this control? Or is Bastu 5 able to take it back with the mid prio, moving in together and holding it as a team instead of just burst engaging with the Volibear?
And Tom Pick, look at the power spike starting to be hit here by different carries. 2 axes, now on the 3 items as well. Same for Fruity Fresh rather. 6, 0, and 7. Thorn has 3 items and a Medjai Soul Stealer. Zero, so close to the Rapid and Death Guard. His damage will increase heavily with such a purchase. It's just a matter of time. 3 items as well as Spooder. Still needs the level 16 though. That's a big spike on the Needlework. He wants to hit it before the Baron fight.
Ooh, that crit damage from Caitlyn though onto the tank Maokai. That's a lot. Do you see Domino playing on the side? They want this spike. Bastu 5 did start the Baron at one point, but don't really have the damage and were afraid to get burst down too much. So Domino just trying to buy all the time they can to be able to get the death cap onto basically. He actually teleported out. You saw that Aurora was coming down.
Very big cooldown removed off the table. That means he can't really push the bot lane out safely. Admo has TP, so he could join. Someone starts up the Baron. Gold within 1k of each other. In the battle for second place, it's neck and neck all the way.
Death cap has been acquired for Zero. Snobby also took a quick base to get some items. Now the spikes have really hit for both sides. It's just waiting for something to explode in the next few minutes. Bastu 5 trying to play for the control, holding it long down the mid lane, playing it patiently, and they're trying to walk back. But then Gwen on the side, do they just want to cross map this? It's more easy for Bastu 5 to actually just play for the tower. But then again, can Spooder just force through the Orn on top side? Maybe.
Yeah, Spooder, another one trying to force the one with the TP. Bastu 5 are kinda locked in a tough situation here as they just run to launch almost in. Zero though, good damage onto Thorn, but Thorn is the one who is dishing up the most. No, he falls! Zero, somehow, some way, still alive. Fruity Fresh, gone. Bastu 5 evaporates off the rift. Polar stuck with a support and a jungler has to run. Admo will surely be cut down here. Bastu 5, where did they go?
I have no idea what happened there. They just got blown up. I was so sure that Zero was gonna die on the initial engage there. But then suddenly, all over the place, he was just out of the fight. He did die in the end, but Domino taking complete control again. Bastu 5 trying to engage. We see it time after time after time. They try to engage, but they can't really do it with that kind of a composition. So Domino are the ones with the better flanks. Get the Baron, get the pressure, and it's a lot more in their control this time.
That's for Baron, that's something that could swing a game, let's be completely honest. The second one, this time for Domino. This time though, they will get out with all 5 Barons alive. 1 minute till soul bomb for Domino. Soul for Bastu 5, but that's not what we're gonna be focusing on. Eyes on what Domino decide to do with this buff.
I think the smart part now is playing on the 2 lanes around the objective you want. So of course Drake is the name of the game. So you see Domino pushing the top wave, take the reset, and then most likely going for the mid and bot wave that transitions into the Drake. So you want to try to get control back of your own jungle and extend the pressure onto the enemy blue side. Because this is the easiest way to play back and forth there. Range is hard to move into, so that's why you need both fields by the mid and bot lane to be able to shift back and forth and try to win it out on tempo. You see, don't really want to push through mid lane, so they stack up everybody through the mid. They want to try to head on onto Bastu 5.
Oh, TP behind here from Spooder. It's playing the long game, but it's a flank that Bastu 5 are aware of. So, Bastu 5 forced into a bit of a choke when here's Zero flanking as well. Bastu 5 has to choose which way they want to go. You don't want to get assassinated by Zero because he certainly can't do that, as he will find Fruity Fresh, tries to turn it around, goes golden. Zero now caught on the wrong side, but Polar already gone the front line. Soon to evaporate from the side of Bastu 5. Fruity Fresh with the needlework falls. Spooder, insane amount of damage for him as they find 3 and they could look to push down the mid lane.
And Domino with a clean fight there, just taking the control, having the flank on the other side, playing with the initial engage from Ornn, but they capitalize on the turn, getting the towers, might just open up the whole base on the mid lane here, getting the Drake at the same time. But death timers aren't too long, so I wouldn't imagine they get too much more than an inhib maybe.
Be careful though, Dawn still has a lot of damage and must be respected. Level 17 is here, not one to mess around with, and they won't. They will accept that they can get the inhib, back off. Oh my god, that's 3 Cloud Drake. If they get one more, that's a 4 Cloud Drake soul. A spike for them, to say the least, but look at the 80 carries. 2 Axis is ahead in the spell path, reaching now 4 items, 4.5 as well.
Yeah, this Aphelios is super scary at this point, almost full build. I imagine he might actually get his last item on his coming base. So we'll see how long he extends his time on the Rift, as they see the Bastu 5 members coming back onto the top side. Victor pushing mid, Gwen on bot side. TP just available on Zero at the moment.
Oh no. Fruity Fresh. Just a tiny bit of damage from a single Calibrum shot. Stood by, has been spotted, so can't really look for any flank here, but your base is also kind of being destroyed at the moment by a Gwen, but they decide to go for the fight instead. But they have to win this or their base is gone. Might be regardless of Storm, just in no man's land, not really doing any damage. They can't even kill Omofin. And look who's in the front line. It's 2 Axis. He doesn't care. Flash forward and he will find both your carries. TP back as desperation. But this game is done. Domino with that fight will surely take it. 2 Axis, man. What a smurf.
What an incredible game, back and forward on both sides. Now they're just running it down there, trying to finish up the game. Well played by Domino, who's actually going to take the step above from Bastu 5.
Yeah, it wasn't clean, it wasn't pretty, but it's a much needed win, as Domino will sit themselves atop 2nd place and look up to Natives, maybe try and catch up to them next week.
That was an intense game. It was just Mexican standoffs of the random engages onto objective. They were taking 7 Drakes at that point. So just all the time something to play around. It was insane. And it really backed up as a good end of the day to have that kind of a game.
Yeah, it was certainly a banger. Bastu 5. Honestly, they can still take a lot of positives away from that. You mentioned that they had a very hard composition to play, and I think Domino in the team fights, in particular, just were that little bit cleaner. They were that more creative at finding the right engages, but Bastu 5, good individual moments here and there. They were in the game for up until the last team fight, let's be completely honest. It was a good game for them as well. They gave Domino a run for the money, but they weren't able to win it. Still though, they have hopes of going out as 2nd seed in the group. Obviously, they can technically still get first, but Natives will likely get that. So next week against Domino, that rematch will probably be the decider between 2nd place.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing overall. I think they have a lot of things they can improve on. They have shown good things throughout the day, but I'm really excited to see Bastu 5 into the new best of ones again. If they can keep this level of improving throughout next week.
Yeah, and with that, Tom Kick, that rounds out our 30 games here of casting today. But the games might be done. That doesn't mean the content here on the NLC stream is, though. We will be throwing it to a short break, but when we will be back, Ashram will be hosting a small analyst desk to get us through the rest of the night. See you then.